For those of you that have me on Facebook, you've probably seen that I've been doing a lot of walks up and down the country recently, and I've now decided to put it to good use. I will be doing the London2Brighton challenge in May 2019 during the bank holiday over the course of 2 days. It's 100 kilometres long, and I'm going to need your help to raise £600 for the Down Syndrome Association. This next video will be explaining why I want to do it for the Down Syndrome Association. I have a brother with Down syndrome, and this clip is something that I originally put together during my time at university in my editing module. I've clipped it up, revamped it. It's not perfect, so please excuse the messy music cuts and things. I've tried to make it as good as possible, but thank you for watching this video. Potentially thank you for sponsoring me as well, so thumbs up there, and hope you enjoy the video. My name is Sabina, and this is my brother Jacob. As you may have already guessed, he has Down syndrome. I will be talking to you about my experience as his sister, but first there are a few misconceptions to cover.
I guess my misconception was that I just understood people with Down syndrome had really limited ability, but Jake keeps on surprising you. He can navigate an iPad, he can swim, things I never imagined he could do.
I used to believe when I was younger that Down syndrome children would have a particular personality trait, that they were always very happy and passive.
My misconception is that Down syndrome are always
I guess it's my imagination that's more limited than his ability.
People think that they can't learn, they can't go to normal schools, that they can't make friends, they can't live independently, they can't work, and everybody always thinks of people with Down syndrome as being happy and affectionate, which most of them are, and Jacob is a lot of the time, but it's not necessarily the case. They still have other emotions, they still get sad and unhappy and have fear and all of those normal things. And when one of my best friends came to visit us in hospital when Jacob was born, she said to me, well, what do you think of when somebody says Down syndrome? And I said, well, somebody in a grey tracksuit and a brown anorak with their tongue hanging out, following around like a puppy. Terrible thing, but that was my misconception.
When Jacob was born, my parents knew he was different. And when they were told that he had Down syndrome, they knew life wouldn't be the way they'd expected. There were plenty of complications to follow. At 2 weeks old, he was readmitted to hospital with pneumonia, something that happened frequently throughout his infancy.
At the time, the paediatrician said to us, this will be the first of many hurdles that you're going to have to face in Jacob's life. And how right he was. And at that same time, they discovered then that he had also got a heart defect, which would require surgery. 50 years ago, they wouldn't have operated. They decided then that their lives weren't worth saving, and so Jacob wouldn't be alive today.
At 5 months old, he started having seizures that we believe severely affected his development. I was only 2 years old.
15th of November, 5:35 in the morning. These are quite bad and quite frequent too.
My mum and I spent hours looking after Jacob each time he had a seizure. This could be up to 10 times a day for an hour at a time.
Jacob's currently on 1.5 tablets of Beta-Bactrim and 2 times 4 meals a day of sodium valproate.
My mum, bless her, says a lot of things. She said that Jacob touches the lives of every single person he meets. People with disabilities shouldn't be feared, nor should we ever feel the need to be intimidated by them. We need to start embracing differences. How many differences are there between you and me? Too many to count, probably. Having a brother with Down syndrome has changed me in so many ways, and I know for a fact that he is a far greater person than I will ever be. I wouldn't change a thing. He makes us laugh, he makes us cry, he loves us unconditionally, and he's made us patient and tolerant and given us a greater understanding of people with disabilities. He's made our lives richer and far better for having him in it.
We do things that we may not have done as much. We've been to Disneyland Paris several times, we've been with grandparents and other members of the family, and We go skiing every year, and we now take Jacob out on a handy ski with an instructor, and I remember the first time that we took Jacob out on the handy ski, I was in tears because I thought, here he is, he's coming up into the mountains with us for the first time, and we never thought he'd be able to do that, but he did. We never thought he'd be able to swim, but boy can he swim, and he loves it. He's just an amazing, amazing young man. There are many things that I've said about Jacob in the past, but there are two that are really important to me. Is that one, he has made me a far better person for knowing him and having him in my life, and that for all the difficulties and all the hurdles that we have to get over, he gives us far more than he takes away.
Now tell me this. Is this a